Assalamu alaikum, hello and welcome to The Health Show, here only on the Islam channel with me, Alistair Greener. Now, this is our last episode of the current season, but I'm sure it's going to be a great one. Now, looking at how you can change your health and lifestyle for the better, The Health Show offers an alternative viewpoint from our health experts who attend the show, which we hope will really help guide you in the right direction. So if you suffer from any medical issues or have any health concerns, or for that matter, if you know anybody who does, then tune in each week as we've been giving you a wide range of topics and offering an alternative viewpoint from our health experts. If you'd like any further information on the programme or any of the topics that we've discussed throughout the series, then please do get in touch at healthshow@islamchannel.tv. And again, we'll give you that address at the end of the show. Today, we're looking at CoolSculpting, which is also known as fat freezing. It's a fat reduction treatment that gets rid of unwanted fat cells permanently. Although to maintain your results, a good diet and exercise is recommended. To discuss the treatment, it's great to welcome practitioner Barbara Taylor from Pulse Light Clinic, who has a vast amount of experience in this sector. Barbara, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to talk to you. Lots of exciting things to talk about, so really looking forward to the show. But before we talk to Barbara more, let's take a look at a video which tells us more about CoolSculpting and how the fat is frozen. Pulse Light clinics say the treatment deals with around 25% of fat cells, and over a 4 to 12 week period, the dead cells are naturally metabolized and digested in your body as if they were a waste product. Let's take a look and see how it works.
Hi, I'm Lucy at Pulse Light Clinic. Today we're going to be talking about the CoolSculpting procedure. CoolSculpting is an innovative and non-invasive way to sculpt the body and get rid of unwanted fat cells. Generally, most clients get from 20 to 25% fat reduction in one treatment. There are many areas that we can treat using the CoolSculpting machine, but today we're just going to go over a few of the most popular areas. So we're just checking for the pinchable fat in the area, and then we're just going to find the peaks also on the lower abdomen area here as well. So you can see now from the side that if we take away this area of fat for about 20 to 25%, then the overhang is going to come over here. So we're going to see a slight protrusion from the top of the abdomen. So in many cases, we have to do the whole abdomen area to get the best result for the client. So we're going to apply this gel pad to the area so that we don't get any frostbite basically on the skin. It really helps to protect the skin because we're getting to minus 10 degrees. We're going to apply the suction to the area so that we can suck the skin that we're trying to pick up into the applicator into the handpiece. The applicator's been on China's abdomen now for 35 minutes. We're about to take it off and do a 2-minute massage. This is 68% more effective if we massage in the first 2 minutes after the applicator's removed. So we're going to assess Joanna's arm now to see if she's suitable for the CoolSculpting treatment. We want to make sure we've got enough pinchable fat here, and then we're going to pop the applicator on. Joanna's only got a minimal amount of fat here, so we're only going to probably need around 1 session, and we'll see the results after 12 weeks. So we're going to assess Shan now to see if she's a suitable candidate for the CoolSculpting for the chin area. First of all, we're checking there's enough pinchable fat there, and then we're going to also check that the applicator actually fits. Now, most clients need 2 applicators on the same treatment, so 1 and then a second applicator, and then 6 weeks later, for the best result, an applicator in the center. Some clients, if the area is smaller, may only be able to have 1 applicator in the center, and then 6 weeks later, 1 applicator here. So you can see from the coverage on Shan's chin that by doing 2 applicators, we've got double the coverage in the center, which will give us an even better result in the middle of the chin area. We're open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. and 10 till 5 on weekends. We're based next to Bank Tube Station and our second clinic is next to Tottenham Court Road. We offer free same-day consultations for the CoolSculpting device. For more information, go to www.pulselightclinic.co.uk.
So Barbara, it's great looking at that video because it's given us an idea of how it works. And a lot of people will be amazed at how invasive it is, how uninvasive I should say it is, that it seems quite a simple process.
Yeah, it's not that hard to actually have the treatment done. You just sort of sit there and have it done. It's very easy and relaxing, actually.
Yeah, I like the way you can read a book or, play a game on your phone and things like that. But the technology, how new is this technology? So
CoolSculpting has been FDA cleared in America since 2009, and then in England 2011.
So it's relatively recent, but it's long enough to have got a track record.
Absolutely.
First of all, tell us exactly how it works. What's actually happening when we see that machine going over the different parts of the body? What's actually happening?
So what happens is the machine, it was a vacuum suction, so it draws the tissue into the applicator, and then we freeze the area to -11. We freeze it for, depending on applicator, 35 to 45 minutes, and we freeze it to -11. Which is obviously very, very cold. And this is the point of apoptosis, which is natural cell death. So once the fat cells die, they are then cleared out of your body and through your lymphatic system, as you said earlier. And it's a natural process, and it doesn't harm your body in any way.
So literally, it just goes through like any other waste in the body.
Exactly, absolutely.
So someone obviously worked out that this of -11 is the key temperature. Now, I'm just thinking -11 against my tummy or any other part of my body is going to be pretty dramatic.
Absolutely. We do use a lot of safety measures to keep yourself obviously safe, and we use a protection pad which has got gel. It's almost like an antifreeze, and it stops it stops the cold getting any frostbite on your skin, and we also use some wipes beforehand, which also is like we get double protection before you even put the cold anywhere near your skin.
Okay, well, let's go right back to the beginning. Let's talk about someone who comes to you. First of all, who are your typical clients? Who are the people who would come to you to say, I need help?
It's most likely people who are, they're eating healthy, they are exercising, and they just have a little bit of stubborn fat. So hereditary, some people carry weight in areas that other people don't. So most commonly lower abdomen, or maybe the chin is quite a good one as well. And then it's just really just to even everything out. So it's not for obese, huge people. It is just for pocket fat reduction.
And it's not as an alternative to a diet. This isn't some great panacea that go along every few months, have some taken out, and then you can go back to your normal bad habits again.
Absolutely not. This is for people that are, they are healthy, and they are looking just to finish off what they are trying so hard in the gym to get.
Because one of the things that people, especially if they have lost a lot of weight, let's say there is somebody who's lost a huge amount of weight, there's that little bit left that they're trying to get rid of, which I think is what you're saying this is for.
Absolutely.
What about the skin? Because often, people, if they have lost a lot of weight, the elasticity in the skin has gone.
Okay, so CoolSculpting is not a skin tightening treatment. But saying that, if you have fat in an area, gravity is naturally pulling that down. If you then remove the weight, and in the 4 to 12 weeks, it naturally will bounce back. As I say, it's not a skin tightening treatment, but it would definitely improve the appearance.
Okay, so somebody in that situation, they're eating pretty healthily, they're probably taking some exercise, but they've just got that little bit of stubborn fat left somewhere. But as you say, typically it's around the middle section. How do they come along to you? What actually happens? What's the process from the first time they come along and make that appointment?
Okay, perfect. So we'll bring you. You have to fill out a consultation form, and we will bring you in the room, and it will just be female practitioners in the clinic, and there will only be one in the room. And we will then speak to you and understand exactly what the area is. And then we will have a little look at the area. You can tell me what it is exactly that you are hoping to achieve. And then we'll have a little look at the area, and we'll start to hold the area with the hands and just try and see what we can pinch, because it has to be subcutaneous fat, which is on the outside. Can't be visceral fat, which is on the inside. So it has to be healthy fat, which is on the outside. And then we will have a little look and see how much, how many applicators it is to get you from your treatment to transformation. Once we've got all of this, set up, and we know exactly, and everyone's very clear about how the process works and what to expect, and then after that, we will be able to book you in.
So would you go, if you go along for the consultation, is there a delay period before you actually have your first treatment?
No, so with the CoolSculpting, it's one of the only treatments that we do that you don't need a patch test for, and you can be any skin type to have the treatment. So it's really as simple as when our machine is available and when you are available.
Okay, and so let's say, for example, you've booked your consultation with a view to having your first treatment afterwards. What's actually going to happen? Because, and again, people, you mentioned there were only female practitioners, but people are obviously a little bit concerned, especially, many of our viewers are particularly concerned about parts of their body that they're, potentially showing and so on. So how does that actually work?
So as I say, if you're doing one area, you can only just expose the one area that you'll be treating, and we can do that one part at a time. And what we like to do as well is you can stay with one practitioner if you feel more comfortable, but if you don't mind, then we have other practitioners. We have most of the practitioners are trained on the CoolSculpting machine.
Okay, so you would go along, you then go from the consultation room into the treatment room. From the moment you go into the treatment room, describe what's actually going to happen.
So what will happen is we will take 360-degree photos that are just for our own understanding of the before and afters, and for yourself as well. After we've done this, we'll also weigh you just to make sure that you're the same weight afterwards, to make sure that everything's all right there. And then what we do is we will draw on the applicators onto the body of where it is that we need to put them. After that, we will then get you onto the bed, and then we will prepare the area by wiping it over. And then we'll also put the gel pad over the area. Once we're happy that that's all, you're comfortable, and we've got everything that you need, and then we will pop the applicator and it will draw the tissue into the applicator. We then use a band that will tie around your body to secure it, and then we'll use a boppy pillow, and then we just pop that underneath and just make sure everything's nice, comfortable, and that you're comfortable and you've got everything you need. And then we'll give you a little emergency pen, so that, because we leave you whilst you're in the room and you can watch TV, do emails, do whatever you like. And if there's anything that you need, a glass of water, a cup of tea, anything like that, just pop the buzzer and we'll come running to you.
So this effectively is sort of operating automatically?
Yeah, absolutely. The machine's got a lot of safety features in it. So, for instance, if it gets too cold, or if you move, or if the applicator moves, then it will stop the treatment and we'll come into the room, reposition it, get everything ready, and then we can start it again.
How many of these machines do you have in your clinic?
So we started off with one, but now we're lucky to have two. So we have two in one clinic. So it means we can actually treat two areas at the same time. We call this duo sculpt. So we can treat two areas at the same time. So rather than it being an hour and 10 minutes for two applicators, it's only 35 minutes for both of them. And we have also another clinic in Tottenham Court Road that also has some machines there as well.
So the average time that this machine will be doing its work, if you like, is 35 minutes?
35 minutes for the smaller applicators, and then it could be 45 minutes for the bigger applicators. We've got one more applicator that's for the side of the hip, and that one's over an hour. Okay,
and once you've had this done, what happens there? Do you need to take a shower? Do you need anything, to do anything afterwards, or do you just say thank you very much, walk away, and then come back for another treatment another time?
Okay, yeah. So when you leave, all we say is just make sure that you're continuing being healthy. We don't advise you to do anything other than just drink water. Really, just go back to a normal lifestyle. Just light exercise, nothing that you wouldn't normally do. And then I think with the stomach, what can be a bit more comfortable is if you want to, you can wear sort of compression, sort of corset type things, the waist trainers, if you want to. It's not essential, but it sometimes makes it feel a bit more comfortable.
So yes, talking about the comfort, you talk about very limited, side effects and things. What are people going to experience? What are they going to feel? What are the sensations, if you like?
So at the start of the treatment, it feels like if you were to go from a freezing cold day and you come indoors into a normal temperature a room and you get that sort of stinging, burning on your hands, and it's this similar sensation, but fortunately you only have that for 5 minutes and then you become numb. So for the rest of the 30 minutes of the treatment, you feel nothing. Then right at the end, we administrate a massage. It's not that comfortable, the massage. Some people find, it depends what your pain threshold is. It can be a little bit uncomfortable. Some people find it a little bit painful. But luckily it's only a few minutes. And then after that, you just get a bit of redness, a bit of swelling. And then if you're very prone to bruising, you might get a little bit of bruising. After that, as I say, you can just continue with your day. After about maybe a few weeks, your skin won't be, because it can become numb for a few weeks, up to 6 weeks, but generally not that long. And then, it just feels numb, so you don't really feel the area. I've had it done myself, and I felt like you can sort of, when you sort of bend to pick things up, you just feels a little bit harder. But then it's just your body trying to heal what's going on there and trying to break it all down.
Now, obviously, as you say, yes, it's breaking it all down. So it's going to take a while for the system to effectively flush through that dead fat. How long does that process take? So
it's a natural process, and it's between 4 weeks to 12 weeks. Most people see results at around 6 weeks. But the good thing is it is a natural process. So you don't just wake up one day and have no fat and you end up with all this loose skin. Your body has time to actually bounce back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, in terms of then a follow-up treatment, because this isn't just a one hit, is it? You need to do this a few times, is that right?
Everyone is so different, okay? So we find that men on the flanks, on the sides of the body, because a lot of men come in for this treatment too, and they have... they could do maybe 3 applicators on an area and they get good results, whereas, say, maybe on other areas like the abdomen, they might only decide that they want 2. But with this treatment, if we can put you in the applicator, you can have it. But there may come a time when we've done 2 applicators and you actually can't be put in it because you haven't got enough fat left.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not like an unlimited thing. You can't keep having it. If you have an applicator and you're happy, then it's not necessary to have another one. But if you would like to, you're welcome to. But
you have to leave it really ideally 12 weeks to see the full effects before you have a second application.
When we do the consultation, we do treatment to transformation. So if we feel like an area we will need to do twice, we will actually do it at 6 weeks. Okay. Because sometimes if we want to overlap, it's good to allow the body to heal and then get it in the middle of the process. So if there's any fat cells that haven't completely cleared out or haven't completely died, then we can then hit that one again to confirm that they will go.
Okay. So in theory, you could maybe have, say over, 18 weeks or something, you're going to maybe have 3 applications, but you're going to see some dramatic improvements after, as you say, about sort of 6 weeks-ish. You're going to start seeing the difference.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you were saying that in your consultation initially, you can see how long that's likely to take because you can obviously analyse the type of fat and how much there is.
And it might be the case that we have larger applicators. We might decide that we want to do some larger applicators and then come in and really sculpt at 6 weeks. Okay. So we use the first one to sort of debulk, if you will, and then go back in and really sculpt to give you that really like hourglass type figure.
Yeah, and the one big thing you've stressed quite a lot, that this is really only for people who have that last little bit of fat they just can't get rid of. So it's not fat that has gone through diet or exercise, it's stubbornly there.
Yeah.
How often do you get people who come along to you and to say, I've got a little bit of fat here, can you do something about it? And you actually look and think, actually, are you doing the exercise? Are you doing the diet? And therefore you turn people away. Does that happen?
We can treat, as long as you have a pocket of fat, it can be treated. It's mainly the people we unfortunately have to turn away with people that have visceral fat, which is on the inside. So anything that
How can you tell that from say looking at somebody or giving them a consultation?
So subcutaneous fat is on the outside of the muscle wall, and we can actually draw this away from the body, meaning we can put it into an applicator. Visceral fat is on the inside, which is actually, we call it unhealthy fat, because it's actually around the organs. And this is really down to, you need to diet and exercise. Anything that's on the outside, we can treat.
Okay, and of course the best way is just go along for a treatment and...
Yeah.
Now we've got lots more to talk about in the second half, but just before we go to that, at the end of the day, results are what it's all about. And you said you've had it done, so maybe just quickly give me an idea of the effect that it had on you.
Okay, so I've had 4 applicators on my lower stomach. So I had 2, and then 6 weeks later I had another 2. And for me, again, I'm not someone that's, you know, too massive, but I have got an area that hereditary been passed down. I've got a little bit more, and then I find now that it's not for the rest of the world, it's just for myself, and it's just for my own, you know, I feel so much more confident in myself, a lot more comfortable, and, you know, clothes just fit me better, and it's just, it's made a massive difference to me.
And, you know, we talk a lot on this show about people's confidence and how they feel. And, you know, obviously that's a very, very important part of anybody's well-being.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really, I think, again, this treatment is for you. It's really for you. And obviously, you know, it's all about making yourself feel better.
Brilliant. Well, we've got lots more, as I say, in the second half to talk about, and we'll also go into maybe some more case studies. And I know that you have quite a few people from the Muslim community who've been to see you, who have had great success as well. So look forward to talking about that in the second half. Thank you very much for the moment. But now we must stress that should you suffer from any medical problems or health concerns, it's always highly recommended that you contact your doctor or GP, as the Health Show gives you an alternative viewpoint to the health concern being discussed. Lots more to talk about. See you after the break. Welcome back to the Health Show, where we're looking at a process that can get rid of unwanted fat from those stubborn places that you just can't shift. It's called CoolSculpting, and it's also known as fat freezing. Now, Pulse Light clinics say there are minimal side effects with their CoolSculpting treatment, as it's non-surgical fat reduction treatment. There may be minor bruising, numbness and swelling on the treated area due to the suction of the applicator, but it does reduce within a few days. Let's take another look.
So let's talk about CoolSculpting. CoolSculpting is actually one of my personal favourite treatments that we have here. The treatment is 35 to 45 minutes per applicator. Somebody will always need more than one applicator, just so you know. CoolSculpting is the FDA approved version of fat freezing. There's a lot of copycat versions of fat freezing out there. CoolSculpting is the one that is the patented version. The way that it works is, say you were to do a stomach, for instance mine, you would do one applicator at a time. So that means the applicator goes on the skin once we've put the gel pads and everything to protect the skin from the cold. It will stay on for 35 minutes or 45, depending on the size applicator that you're best suited to. During that time, you can watch TV, you can be on your phone, it's not a problem, it's not painful. And then we take the applicator off, we do a massage, and we move on to the next one. Recently, we have actually purchased another machine, which means we are able to do dual CoolSculpting. What that means is you could do one on your stomach and one on your flank, for instance. And we would take one off, do the massage, 5 minutes later the other one comes off, do a massage, which means that we can get through a set of treatments a lot faster. Fat freezing is another example. When the person comes in, we'll draw out a wish list. So even if you can only afford one area, we will draw out the other areas that you're interested in. We will tell you the type of results that you can expect. We're very experienced with CoolSculpting now, which is the fat freezing treatment that we provide. So you will actually be able to see some of the results that we have personally had in this clinic, what's worked very well, the kind of feedback that we're getting from the clients, and everything like that. So we can really cater to you, and if we don't think you're suitable, then we will also tell you that, of course. We also offer a 0% finance option, which is great. it means that you can actually just pay 20% up front. So say you had a £1,000 package, you would just pay £200 up front, and the rest would be split over 12 months. To qualify for the 0%, you do need to have a decent credit score. It's not something that we look at, but the company that we use, Deco, will actually be able to tell you straight away whether or not you're accepted for the finance option. And if it goes through, we just take a deposit and book you in.
It's really interesting watching that, because we talked in the first part of the show about the technology, that it's been around in the UK for about 8 years, even longer in the States. How did it come about? Who found out that this was a great way to get rid of that unwanted fat?
Okay, so there was a study in Harvard where 2 doctors understood that children that have been exposed to prolonged cooling for popsicles, ice lollies, would actually end up with dimples in their cheeks. And from this is where the technology actually grew.
It's funny, isn't it? Just some of the simplest ideas sometimes can lead on to amazing discoveries. And it really is transformative. And we should, again, stress that this is purely for people who just got that little bit of stubborn fat left, having dieted, having gone through an exercise regime. This is not a weight loss program, is it?
No, absolutely not. So I say, again, it's not for sort of obesity. It's just mainly if you've got fat on the outside of your body. You don't have to be super fit with a 6-pack and then just have a little bit of fat. You can have just a little bit going on there that you just can't shift. And
now, as we saw in the VT there, it's not just, we always think of the lower abdomen areas as being the most stubborn. It's not just for there, is it?
No, absolutely not. Over the years, CoolSculpting has actually been able to clear FDA quite a few areas now. So from the top, we've got the chin, and we can treat the entire chin. We can also treat the arms. So underneath the arms, we can treat, we have this area here, we call it bra puff. This is an area that we call that. And we also do on the back of the arms in the same area. We can treat the full abdomen. We can treat the full sides, so the flanks, and also the back. We can also treat male chest. We can treat inner thighs, outer thighs. We can treat knee fat. And also just underneath the buttocks, there's a little pocket of fat there that you can also treat, called banana roll.
I mean, you could be doing this for a long time if you wanted to get absolutely perfection. But of course, everyone has their own sort of self-awareness, and they've got their own areas that they're particularly, concerned with.
Exactly.
We hear about, years ago, there was talk always about liposuction, getting rid of that unwanted fat. Now, obviously, this is a non-invasive treatment, so it's completely different. But in terms of getting rid of the fat, what's the difference between the two? Okay,
so with liposuction, as you say, it is an invasive treatment. So not only are you getting, surgery, you're going to have obviously anaesthetic. There's going to be multiple people in the room dealing with the procedure, as well as that you're going to get scarring, and the downtime and the time that you're going to be away from potentially work. Also, all of that added on, the cost is a lot higher, the downtime's a lot higher, and the risks are a lot higher. With as I say, with CoolSculpting, this is it's a very easy treatment to have, and there is no downtime for it.
Is the actual fat that you're removing, is it the same kind of fat? But obviously, as we've said in the first half, this actually just goes through your normal system, your waste mechanism, should we put it like that?
Yeah.
Obviously, liposuction is being taken out surgically, but is it actually the same fat that you're removing, essentially?
Yeah, it is the same fat. And we actually, sometimes we get clients who have had liposuction but have only treated one area because that was their main concern. And then afterwards, so say if it's stomach again, lower stomach they'll treat, but the top of the stomach, they won't treat. And now, since it's all cleared out and healed up, they're not prepared to go through that trauma again, so they come and have CoolSculpting just to sculpt and fix the last parts that they have had, so you could do it in conjunction.
Now, this equipment that we're talking about, as you say, it's relatively new, so I can imagine this equipment is phenomenally expensive.
Oh, yeah, it is a very expensive machine, absolutely. Yeah. It's a big investment, but it's well worth it for the clinic.
And obviously for your clients. How popular and how well known is it in the UK?
It is getting very, very popular. I think the same with a lot of the treatments in aesthetic clinics originally were just for you know, celebrities and things like that. But as you know, the years have gone by, you know, having the body that you deserve is being a lot more accessible, and it's worldwide. You know, it's really quite a big thing now, and the more technology is advancing, the more that people are understanding to believe and trust aesthetic clinics like Pulse Light
And
Clinic.
it's interesting because, you know, you said it was FDA approved. It's been approved in the UK for 8 years.
Absolutely.
For people, there's a lot of claims out there, you know, that people will be making for all sorts of, you know, what we would consider miracle treatments.
Okay.
How can people be assured that it's safe, it's legal, it's been approved, and that actually they can come with that full knowledge of knowing that it's going to be okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So I say with CoolSculpting, in comparison to other fat freezing machines, because there are other ones out there in the market, fat freezing, the CoolSculpting, it gets to a -11, which is absolutely, definitely going to get to, you know, fat cell death. Other machines on the market, you have to come for 10, 12 treatments. It's a -6, it's 20 minutes. The thing with as I say, with CoolSculpting is it's so worldwide, and it is really the only one in the market at the moment that is safe and is effective.
Now, I know you've been going a number of years now. You have a huge amount of success stories. You know, obviously we have people from all over the world watching this. You know, you said it's available here in London. You can get it in the States. If people do come here to London, give us maybe some more examples of people who've had the treatment and it's worked particularly well for them.
Yeah. So I have. I've recently had a client come in. It was actually a married couple, so and they were a Muslim couple, and it was a husband and wife, and they've come into because you can come in if you want to with your spouse, to the treatment room, and we discussed exactly what it was, and the husband just wanted. She had children, so wanted to try and give her body back in a way, and was willing to get a bit more information and really understand that she was going to be taken care of.
And that's so important, isn't it? That everyone feels comfortable with the process before
absolutely.
you actually start. And how did she get on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. She is. She's on, I think, the 10 weeks, and we're in a few weeks' time. We should be having her to come in, and we will do some more photos, and then we can see if there's any further treatments that she would like.
Now, we always talk about, or you've talked a lot about this being permanent fat removal.
Okay.
How did that fat get there in the first place?
Okay.
And how can you be so sure it's going to be permanent?
Okay, so the way it works is when you're born, and, you know, at the end of your life, you have the same number of fat cells all over your body. The way that you put weight on is your fat cells are larger when you put weight on, and when you lose weight, your fat cells are smaller. But what we do with CoolSculpting is we actually eliminate the number of fat cells in an area. So if these fat cells are excreted out of your body, then when you put weight on, you can't put fat into a cell that's not there anymore. So this is why it's permanent, because there are no fat cells to put it in. You will still have fat cells in the area, but you won't have the same volume of fat cells. So after having CoolSculpting, you know, some people think, oh, well, where's the fat going to go then? So what happens is your body will naturally evenly distribute the fat, or, you know, that's been put into your body.
So in other words, that was going to be my next question. If you wind up thinking, great, it's gone, I can start having pizzas and things like that. But what you're saying is the body will, instead of going to that area, it'll wind up depositing somewhere else in the body.
No, so say it will just evenly distribute everywhere.
Right.
Okay, so it's not just not going to go to one area, which is what happens with liposuction. People have a treatment area done, and then there's no fat there, but then they get fat everywhere else, and it looks really strange. But with CoolSculpting, that's not what happens. It's to say it's only eliminating a number of fat cells, you know, between 20 to 27%. So then the fat is evenly distributed through the other cells, and, you know, if you lose weight, again, it's, you know, you can't spot fat reduce in the gym, so it's the same. Right. With when you're putting it back on, you can't eat and then hope for it to go one place.
Now you've had the treatment yourself, and obviously you've had great results. What about maintaining that loss? Obviously, as you said, if you go on to eating pizzas, having a terrible lifestyle, and, you know, not going to the gym, the fat will reappear somewhere else. So tell us about the kind of nutrition and the kind of exercise and things you were doing as a result of this treatment. Was it any different to what you were doing before?
Nothing actually. I actually found for myself when I had the treatment done, it actually was almost like a bit of a boost actually to be even healthier. I think, well, if this area is going to be nice and flat and even, then I need to maybe just be a bit more healthy anyway. So, you know, your mentality can go one of either ways. You can think, well, I've just got this treatment done, so I deserve to eat that bit of cake or something like that. But, you know, if you continue to do these types, like continue to do that, then you know, in general, you're not gonna feel like there's much results. But, you know, if you just keep and maintain the exact same diet that you were, you know, if you were really healthy, continue doing what you're doing. And if you maybe weren't so, and maybe you think, oh, actually, I've now invested in this treatment and I actually want the entire of my body to be, you know, what I want it to be, you know.
Now, talking about investment, we need to get down to the nitty-gritty here a little bit. It does sound like it's possibly quite an expensive procedure.
The thing is with CoolSculpting is, you know, the alternative is liposuction. So is it, you know, if you're thinking about the scars and the downtime and everything else, in that case, liposuction is so much more expensive. With CoolSculpting, it's definitely a lot more affordable than liposuction, definitely.
Okay, so bottom line, what are we talking about?
So generally, we say it can start from £1,000, and that would be having, so in some areas, to say if you're going to have your arms done, so one round, so be 1 and 1 would be £1,000. But then again, for like say stomach or something, you may need a number of treatments. So it's difficult to really
But
understand.
You'll get that in the first consultation. You'll
absolutely,
have a good idea.
Yeah. And I say we do, you know, finance options as well. So
yeah,
that
we
makes
saw that
it
on the VT
perfect.
there. That, you know, obviously you can make it more affordable over a period of time. But the long-term effects, you know, have you been aware of anybody who's, you know, as a result of the treatment, you know, in terms of their mental health has actually improved because they've gained in confidence so much?
After a 12-week review, I've had a ladies come in, and I say they've had children before. They've got a bit more weight in this area. They've had the CoolSculpting, and they say to me, you know, you've given me my body back. And they say, and because of this, they say, I'm now going to go and treat myself to like a nice holiday or something like this. And
I'm glad you said a nice holiday and not a cake or a pizza.
Oh no, a nice holiday or something like that. And yeah, a lot of people, they just come in, spring in their step, and you really feel like you've transformed someone's life. And I think for me, that's the biggest thing about working in aesthetics.
And the value of that, of course, is tremendous for everybody. You know, that feeling of well-being, feeling confidence with your body. And we notice that a lot with our viewers who are watching this particular show. You know, how confidence makes the world of difference to all areas of someone's life.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's the thing with CoolSculpting is, you know, it's dramatic. You know, it is dramatic for people. And I think that when you're able to feel like you again, it's, you know, the sky's the limit.
Now, if you do, you know, maybe ease off the pedal in terms of looking after yourself, being healthy, you know, you can put on a weight, as you said before, but of course the weight will come on somewhere else in your body.
It's more, it's more everywhere. It doesn't not go in the area. It will just generally go everywhere and that area. So you don't just get random lumps anywhere. So it's evenly distributed through everywhere. And if you were, say, to, you know, put on weight, then it would just be, all over. And
so you just go back. But how's the difference of losing weight as a result of having this treatment? Is it, you know, this adage, I don't know whether it's true, that the last bit of fat that you put on is actually easier to remove than fat that's been there a long time. Is that an old wives' tale?
I think as far as in conjunction with the CoolSculpting, you know, as long as you are being healthy and looking after yourself, then diet and exercise would be able to, you know, get yourself back to a good shape anyway, if you were maybe put on a little bit of weight. You
talked earlier on about men and women.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's actually equally popular.
Absolutely. I find that generally men tend to want to be the typical V shape, and sometimes you might have a little bit more on the sides and the flanks. So we have a lot of men coming in for chin and flanks are the predominant areas that men are looking to have.
But again, it's not going to get rid of that tummy if you've been overdoing it.
If we're not treating that area, then no, it only reduces where we put the applicator.
Okay. And in terms of the future, looking at this kind of treatment, are there any developments that are happening where it can be done quicker or it can be done, in more areas? Because, we all know that technology is evolving all the time.
Absolutely. When I first started CoolSculpting, we used some other applicators, and each session was 1 hour. So now we've dropped it to 35 minutes.
Wow.
So, and also when I first started, there was no chin applicator. There was no chin applicator. There was also no. We have now a petite applicator, which is for the really small areas. So yeah, I think CoolSculpting is continuously, developing new techniques, and they're continuously gathering all the studies and trying to make it more comfortable, quicker, and also to try and get all the areas possible.
So lots of support. Remind us again, where are you actually based?
So we're based in Bank, in East Cheap's, in London. We have another clinic just across the road in Fenchurch, and then we also have another clinic in Tottenham Court Road, so just off Oxford Street.
Okay, I love hearing stories about people's lives being transformed. Give us another story, give us another example of someone who's been to, maybe someone who's a little bit more challenging, someone who actually maybe lacked that faith, thinking this was actually really going to work for them, and actually they had the treatment and were absolutely amazed by the results.
Okay, yeah, so we have had, I think chins are a big thing. Obviously, anything that you can see on the face, things like that is, we've had quite a few guys, but one in particular, he came in and he was really unhappy about it. And he said, don't really want to have surgery. There's not really all that much else I can do. I've been exercising, but, my dad's got it, my granddad's got it, we've all got this. And I don't really like having photos taken of myself, things like that. And he's come in and we've done the applicator and we do another 6 weeks. We came back, did another procedure. And then by the 12-week follow-up afterwards, he actually was sort of joking around. He's saying, I take so many selfies now. He's like, I love getting in my family photos. He's like, everyone's been telling me I've got a very chiseled jaw and things like that.
Fantastic.
But yeah, it's really lovely.
What a great way to finish the show with a story like that, when it can be that transformative, especially when it's been generational like that. Barbara, thanks so much indeed. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It's been really interesting finding about this new technology. Absolutely great. Now, unfortunately, that is all we have time for, but I'd like to thank our guest practitioner, Barbara Taylor from Pulse Light Clinic, for coming in today and sharing her skills and telling us a little bit more about the work she does at the clinic. Once again, we must stress that should you suffer from any medical problems or health concerns, it's always highly recommended that you contact your doctor or GP, as the Health Show gives you an alternative viewpoint to the health concern being discussed. Now, if you'd like to find out any more about today's topic or book a free consultation with Pulse Light Clinic, or for that matter, if you want to know anything about anything we've done throughout the series, please do get in touch by emailing us at healthshow@islamchannel.tv. And even between series, we'll be able to answer any of your emails. Thank you for watching. And as I said, that is the end of the show for this season and the end of the season. So thank you so much for watching throughout the season. And we hope to see you again. But for now, goodbye for now. Assalamu alaikum.